could have gone another 6 months, year, 18 months, 2 years, whatever the case may be, on those other brakes, and they were still perfectly good. Why? So that dealership could profit. In this video, we're going to be exposing the service and parts departments of legacy auto dealers and how they make all that profit off of you, the paying customer, again and again and again. You're going to want to buckle up for this one. I'm Josh West, and this is Josh West 24/7. I'm a 15-year veteran of legacy automotive and a top performer, but now I see the dealership network is absolutely obsolete. And I'd like to continue to show you why. Now, most people believe that dealerships make all their money from selling cars, and that's just simply not true. You see, when you sell a car, the dealership makes money once. But when you return again and again for service and to buy parts, that dealership gets to make money off you just like Netflix does, again and again and again. According to the NADA, the National Automotive Dealers Association, almost half of all dealerships' profits on average come from the service and parts department. It's 49.6% to be exact. So in light of this important fact, I've broken the information down into 3 main topics. The first is parts and service as a profit center for the dealership. Second is all the marketing tricks, ploys, and techniques that dealerships use to enhance the profits of their service and parts departments. And third is, what's the alternative? And there's a big one. So we all know that dealerships make money on their services, and that's understandable. But did you know the person who's suggesting that you do those repairs to your car or you get that little extra service done is actually being paid a commission, has a huge incentive to sell you as much service as possible? Yes, that's the case. What that means is the more services that you buy, the more money that that person makes. So there's an incentive there to sell you things that maybe you don't completely need. Now, in tough economic times, dealerships will lean very heavily on their service departments. When things get rough or you hear that the economy is slowing down, just watch, and like clockwork, those emails will start rolling in. Those phantom phone calls from automated marketing companies calling up and saying, hey, did you know your warranty's about to expire? Or, hey, you got to come in for that service. Oh, it's tune-up season. Oh, this, oh, that. Yep, like clockwork, regardless of whether or not you need any of those services, they want your money. What's interesting with those advertisements is that they have no idea what the mileage is on your car. In fact, they have no idea who you are because the majority of them now are completely automated. What they do is they just simply dig into their customer database. They know roughly the mileage that you had the last time you brought the car in and how long it's been since you brought it in. And so they'll make some assumptions, and based on that criteria, they'll send out blast emails or mass marketing measures to entice you to come into the dealership and spend some more money. Now, you should understand that when your car goes in for service, it's going to be assigned to one specific technician, and that technician will make suggestions on whatever services and things that that car may need. Now, don't get me wrong, many technicians will point out honestly services that are required on vehicles. Let's face it, a lot of people out there do neglect their vehicle, but oftentimes many of these suggestions are simply just fluff and there to enhance the profit margins of that particular work order. Listen, I'll say this, I have huge respect for licensed technicians. They're excellent at their craft, they work very, very hard, and they went to school for a long time to learn to do what they do. Keep in mind, they'll butt heads a lot of times with service advisors, who are those commission people out there simply to sell and have never turned a wrench in their life, oftentimes. Now let's talk about parts for a second. Did you know that OEM or original equipment manufacturer parts carry huge markup? Did you know that they have a long supply chain and that along the way, everybody takes a bite? Now, I'm going to read a little list here of all the hands in the honeypot that contribute to the increased pricing of OEM parts. I just don't want to miss any, but I still might have. Let me know in the comments below if I missed one. First up, you've got manufacturer profit margin, OEM brand markup, distributor markup, national warehousing markup, local warehousing markup, dealership markup, and of course, transportation all along the way. And guess what? You, the customer, end up paying for it all. Have you ever gone into a dealership for a warranty repair, but then gone in another time for a repair that was not under warranty where you had to pay out of pocket, but had a significantly better experience, especially when it comes to timing? Do you know why that is? It's basically because warranty work gets pushed to the very back of the line. Why? Because the manufacturers pay the dealerships significantly less than they charge you. So of course they're going to push their profitable jobs to the front of the line, and they're going to push those warranty jobs right to the back of the line. And they're only doing them because really they have to. Or if things are slow, they're going to put them in as filler and that sort of thing. The problem with that is that it reflects very poorly on the manufacturer. And the manufacturer has very little control of the customer experience once they go into that dealership. Of course, there's dealer contracts and things like that to uphold, but it's pretty much the Wild West, and dealers end up doing whatever they feel like doing. And the only thing to keep them in check is customer reviews and their reputation. And some of them don't even care about that. I touched earlier on some of the marketing tricks that's used by the service departments, but let's dig into that a little bit deeper. You ever walk into a Legacy car dealership service department and take a look around and notice a massive chart up on the wall, a big menu of all the different services that they have, and of course at different mileage intervals and different ages and things like that, with little marks of, oh, your car needs this, your car needs that, and what have you? Yeah, I've seen those too. And those are designed to do one thing. That one thing is add on to the services that you came in for. Whatever maintenance, whatever issue your car was having, as soon as you roll in there, what are they going to do? They're going to say, hey, take a look up to the top here. You need this and you need that and you need this and you need that. And as long as you pick one, hey, they're up, right? They're ahead. Of course, all of these services are recommended, but of course, they have absolutely no idea what services that your car has already had before it arrived at their dealership. For example, if you had just had a coolant system flush done a few weeks ago and you roll into a service department for some warranty repair and they look up at their sign and they say, well, there's a coolant system flush repair recommended for your vehicle right now. Should we go ahead with that? Or we're going to go ahead with that, or whatever type of clothes that they put on you. And you're like, oh, geez, well, maybe I need another coolant system flush. Or maybe you're just like, yeah, whatever. Or maybe somebody else dropped the car off for you, or whatever the case may be. The bottom line is they're going to go ahead and do that coolant system flush again. Why? Because they have no idea that it's already been done. And of course, you're not a mechanic. You don't know. Maybe it does need to be done a few weeks later. Who knows? But the bottom line is that recommended service is extremely subjective. Probably the strongest tactic that service departments will use when selling additional services, upgrading, increasing the bottom line on work orders is fear-based selling. You see, what happens is customers will generally blindly trust the dealership. And what they'll do is go along with exactly what's suggested to them, regardless of whether or not their vehicle actually needs it, because most of the time they have no idea how to tell whether or not it does need it. And so what often happens is that service advisor will say, well, you should get these brakes done. You know, they're at 70%, but really, you know, they're starting to show a little wear. And meanwhile, they don't actually have to be done at all. They're working perfectly fine to stop the vehicle and will continue to do so for many months or years moving forward, let's just say. But you know what? Geez, that guy really wants to sell that brake job. And so they convince that customer that if they continue to drive that vehicle, it will be unsafe for them and their family. What do you think that customer is going to do? In their head, they're thinking, well, this trained professional is telling me that I'm putting my family at risk, so I better spend a couple $1,000s. Otherwise, I'm not being a good husband, wife, father, whatever the case may be. Well, of course they're going to go and drop several $1,000s. Meanwhile, they could have gone another 6 months, year, 18 months, 2 years, whatever the case may be, on those other brakes, and they were still perfectly good. Why? So that dealership could profit. Bottom line. And that is fear-based selling. For over 100 years, dealership service centers have had an incredible profit opportunity. That profit opportunity is known as the oil change. You see, all gasoline and diesel vehicles at regular service intervals require the lifeblood of their engine to be changed. When that vehicle comes in for service, on a regular basis, I might add, each and every time, that's a new opportunity for that dealership to upsell that customer. Remember when I mentioned Netflix and how they have that reoccurring subscription? Well, that's an oil change. You see, every few months, that dealership gets to resell that customer more and more products and gain more and more profit each and every time, regardless of whether or not that vehicle actually needs that maintenance or that service. And that is how continuous profits are generated. Now, before we move on to the alternative to dealership service, I'd like to give you an overall view of what a traditional dealership service appointment will look like, starting with arranging the appointment. So first of all, you're going to call in. Hopefully you get to speak to somebody. You might get the opportunity to wait on hold or bounce around from different departments, depending on the dealership and depending on their level of customer service. So of course you're going to call in, you're going to set up that appointment. After you book your appointment, you're going to make arrangements to take time off work or time away from the kids or whatever you've got to do to reorganize your schedule to get down to that dealership, because you have no idea how long it's going to take when you get down there. Judging from past experiences, a 1-hour appointment could end up taking 5. So you book the day off work and you make all the preparations, and then the big day arrives. You get in your car and you proceed to drive the 15, 20 minutes, maybe an hour to your local dealership service department, where you come in and you drop off your keys, and then you make your way over to a waiting area that's going to have crappy coffee and crappy music, and if you're lucky, you might even hear some salespeople fighting. So while you're sitting there in that waiting area, listening to the bickering of salespeople and the goings-on of the dealership, you keep glancing out the window, wondering when they're going to bring your vehicle into the service bay. Of course, wasn't your appointment first thing in the morning? But an hour passes by and the vehicle's still sitting there. And you wait and wait and wait, but eventually your car gets taken into the shop, and a little while later, your service advisor comes out with a big list. It's Santa's list. They've checked it twice. And apparently you need a coolant system flush, you need a brake service, you need a tune-up, you need a throttle body cleaning, and you need a Tylenol. Well, you're going to need some Tylenol. But the bottom line is they came out there to upsell you. And that's part of the wonderful experience of a Legacy Automotive dealership. They're there for one reason only, and that's to extract more profits from each and every customer. So of course, you go ahead with all of those additional services, and your 1-hour appointment turns into 5. And you continue to wait and wait and wait, and eventually your car comes back out. And you're able to pick up your keys, and you're able to make that commute back home. What an experience. So what is the alternative? The alternative is direct to consumer, or DTC, sales and service. This is a model that's been pioneered by Tesla and has been received with rave reviews. Compared to legacy dealership service experiences, Tesla has changed the game fundamentally. Back in 2013, at the Tesla shareholder meeting, Elon Musk commented on Tesla's philosophy when it comes to service and parts. Let's take a look.
I feel like we have to do this directly. And also, our philosophy with respect to service is not to make a profit on service. I think that it's terrible to make a profit on service. And unfortunately, the way that the Auto Dealer Association is set up is that they make most of their profit on service. So this obviously would not be a good outcome.
So you can see that there's an incredible difference between legacy automotive service departments and the philosophy of Tesla and the way that they operate. You see, it's all based in the incentive programs. You have a middleman who's looking to make a profit between the manufacturer and the customer. With Tesla's strategy, they're able to offer the customer a significantly more affordable experience by eliminating the dealership middleman. The profits that the dealership originally was taking are now given to the customer as a discount, and the manufacturer still makes the same amount of money. Now, one of the other incredible services that Tesla has pioneered is mobile service. Now, that's something that up until a few years ago was completely unheard of. Who on earth would even consider having a technician come to their place of work, their place of business, or come to their home, or come to the hotel parking lot when they're away on vacation to fix their car? That's a wild concept. But Tesla has made it a reality, and now other new coming automakers are following suit. Rivian has rolled out their own mobile service division, Lucid as well, and VinFast along with others. Legacy automotive dealerships have a real problem on their hands when customers eventually discover the unbelievable convenience of having the service technician, all his tools and equipment, come to them. From a business perspective, this is a genius move. It allows the manufacturers to service huge geographical areas, but at the same time providing the customer with a VIP experience. What could be better than that? Adding to the incredible convenience of mobile service, Tesla has also introduced the ability to book, modify and change service appointments through the app, even do some preemptive diagnostics as well. The experience is unbelievable. Here's on my phone, I have a service appointment set for my Tesla Model S, and I'm able to go in and modify, adjust, and change anything about the service appointment. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, at any time. I don't have to stay on hold with anybody, and I have complete control of that appointment in the palm of my hand. One of the things to consider is that Legacy Automotive Dealerships do not even have the resources to begin to roll out such an intricate software-based customer experience like the Tesla app. They're simply completely lost. So we've looked at legacy dealership service and parts departments as huge profit centers for those dealerships. We've also looked at some of the marketing tricks and ploys that they use to enhance their profits. And finally, we took a look at what is the alternative. And as we can see, there's a new model rolling out for customer service. Tesla has pioneered this new service and parts experience. It's great for the customer, but it's terrible for the legacy automotive dealership middleman. Let me know in the comments below. Have you enjoyed your service experience at Legacy Automotive Dealerships? Is mobile service something that you would appreciate using? Would you appreciate updating and creating your service appointments via an app 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, rather than having to call in or drive in to a Legacy Automotive dealership? Let me know what your thoughts are. I've got even more dark secrets on Legacy Automotive coming up, but you have to wait till the next video.